Yeah, everyone, this is Thermites, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of April 25th, 2021. On the cover, we've got everyone, and it seems like they're doing a, fairy tale theme. I'll bring this back up during the live stream because I don't quite know what's going on with a lot of these. Like, okay, from right to left, because right has, the biggest ones. Uh, See, I have no idea what I don't even remember his name. Yuji is supposed to be. He looks kind of like Guts a little. That ain't a. Uh, what could that be? So Asta's obviously Momotaro. He's got the dumplings. He's got the the band and all that. Uh, yeah, he's obviously sort of Tanuki, but I don't know what myth that would be. Then of course we have Snow White and no, not Snow White. Oh my God, Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf for Undead Unluck. And Clothy is also. I guess Clothy is just the outfit, the famous. Actually, I guess that is technically famous, right? Like the clothing that the Big Bad Wolf steals from Grandma in order to look like Grandma. So I guess that actually does make sense. Instead of the card in his head, he's got like a big old sword, which that's definitely not Red Riding Hood. It should be an axe at the very least, right? Okay. One Piece Luffy is I guess he's Aladdin? Yeah, because it's weird because yeah. Like the headband is supposed to be Aladdin, and then that would explain why Brooke is here. Brooke is probably supposed to be the genie, but he just looks like a tiny little ghost. Like I definitely would have, even if you don't want to go for like the Disney genie, at the very least I would have Luffy be big, but I would have and I guess the amount of space is important. But I would have had like the genie and Aladdin be about the same size, if not having the genie be bigger. Come on, Oda, what you doing? Uh what in the heck is Deku supposed to be? I assume he's supposed to be someone who was pounding mochi, maybe? What is this supposed to be? I mean, it's giant mallets, but yeah, completely lost there. And then what the heck is Senku? I mean, first of all, Boichi, what are you doing with this art? Like, I guess he is going for a fairy tale-y sort of look. And then I assume, every time Boichi does a Dr. Stone thing for one of these, he always puts in, a cool science twist. So I like oh, that's supposed to be a beaker. I thought that was like a giant gun. But yeah, it is like a beaker shooting flowers out of it. Is someone who has like a little dog. Also, oh boy. That's so cute. Oh, who in the world is Ayakashi Triangle main character supposed to be here? I guess she might be Snow White. Maybe. Like the necklace is throwing me off. The necklace feels like it should be from a thing that had like a really important necklace. But then again, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to just be the necklace that she uses to transform. So maybe not. Like the dress is making me think Snow White just because of the coloring, but it's not like the Disney outfits. So well, obviously the rabbit and the tortoise. Then over here you have yeah, they're the the three pigs. Honestly, that's so cool. Like I'm really happy that the mangaka for Nine Dragons decided to just have three characters on here. Like it's a flex that I rarely ever see. Like Undead Unluck tends to have both Andy and Fuko, and like before it ended, We Never Learn always had the original two girls. Occasionally Yuiga, but usually it would be the two girls. So strong flex. And they're not even really the pigs. They're not fully committing. They're clearly just wearing the headbands, but still it's really cute. Oh, for a minute there, she's from not Sugar Rush, Candy Flurry. She looking at her immediately made me remember Kay from Actage. Oh boy, what is this outfit supposed to be? It reminds me a little of Ursula from The Little Mermaid. And then obviously Peter Pan up here. What myth involves a crab and a monkey? And then obviously Snow White over here. I mean, that is just the Disney outfits. I guess if you're a parody series, you might have a little more. It might be a bit easier to do that. Who is the apple supposed to be? Oh, I guess that's supposed to be Bondo. Like the hat is a little like Bondo's hats, but the face isn't really a typical Bondo face. I mean, it's on an apple, so it's hard to tell. Oh, what is she supposed to be from? Yeah, these two, no idea. Oh, is that a speech bubble? That's got to be a speech bubble, right? That's not a bag or something. Huh, but then why didn't they fill it out? Then obviously Pinocchio, some sort of taiko drum beating man. Yeah, I'm lost for like half of these. So if like wait until I start the live stream because I'll probably bring this up again at the start of the live stream. But if no one gets the ones I missed, do let me know. Like this is actually a pretty cool theme. I'm glad it's not just like, hey, it's spring, let's do some spring looks. Like the themed ones are always at least a little fun. What in the heck is Yuji supposed to be? Like I have zero idea. I mean, I guess the Black Knights. Anyways, that is the cover of Jump. Let's move on to Black Clover, Chapter 291, A Duel with a Distant Inferior. So last chapter was, of course, the highest versus the lowest. A duel with a distant inferior. Like, I feel like that wouldn't work here. Like, this is the, I was the lowest, you're the highest, but, my ability allows us to close the gap. A distant inferior implies it's going to be, like, maybe one of the other fights we have going on right now. Huh. But yeah, it doesn't bring anyone specifically to mind right now. Asta getting that big praise. Well, big praise for Nox, to be fair. Okay, time to die. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, so this is the... I was gonna say Gear 4th problem, but it's closer to Gear 3rd. Like, not in the like sense that it's full body pain, but in the sense that it is a like I do the big form, I get to fight for 5 minutes, and then after that I'm just out of it for half an hour. Though even then, like he's not like on the ground. He's in excruciating pain, but I'm assuming he can still like walk around. Yeah, I imagine Nox probably going to just grab him and put him in a corner for a while. Like wait 30 minutes, and then that'll probably be when the finale has to happen, and then he'll be back up. Or even then, like again, he's not down. Like, can he still at least like swing the sword, or can he use the third sword in order to like dispel curses and stuff? Like he could just be in more of a support role for a while. Yeah, I doubt the others will manage to last 30 minutes, but reinforcements are coming in, so it will be a little different than what he's imagining. And right, yeah, Morris felt like the initial problem where I was like, okay, you gotta kill him first, but like that's not gonna help if like the gates are gonna open no matter what. It's just a matter of time. And if everyone else is killed by the Dark Triad, and we still have like 20 minutes for the gates to open, doesn't matter. Still not gonna be great. Yeah, anti-magic is still bound to be useful, and that means that we can, like, this is actually a really cool mechanic to, like, allow us to continue to do the team-based fights that are the staple of Black Clover, while still allowing Asta to be absurdly powerful. Like, now we can have he goes in, he, fights at full force, does the big finish against, like, a lieutenant or something, or, a situation like this, and then he's out of it, but still capable of working for 30 minutes, and then he can, use full power again. I mean, not like everyone else is also really, really strong right now. Like, I'm curious to see what the arc's going to be after this. I guess it has to be more devil stuff. I guess they have to go to another continent or something. Because at this point, they're way, like, anyone who has, like, true magic at this point is way too strong. The people who just have a raise, even they are, like, absurd, but Asta, like, Devil Union, and also, being able to use true magic are really the two big standouts. Like, at that point, how does anyone fight you? Right, so this was the Jack fights. And that's a cool idea. Like, Jack's, magic gets better and better at cutting someone the more he tries it. But, like, his body magic is, surpassing that. Like, he is getting better at being cut faster than Jack can get better at cutting him. So he's got to get reinforcements somehow, but I do want him to succeed. Like, I'd be fine if someone else comes in, and just evens the odds, and then Jack goes in for the final blow. Or, the final many blows. It'd have to be quite a lot for it to, feel impactful. Okay, so Magna's here. Oh, actually, Magna and, Zora. We saw them together before, but I assumed they were going to split up. I wonder what kind of interesting combos they have now. I mean, also, I'm curious to see what Magna's, like, new abilities are gonna be. Because he's pretty simple. He's been, like, he was one of the first Black Bulls we were introduced to, and he hasn't gotten that much more interesting since then. It's mostly been, he does the fireball, but better. This is a good reaction face. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't appear to be anti-magic or unique arcane stage magic. So, like, this is also Yuki Tabata addressing Magna himself. It is the big ol' like, you don't have anything super special. A lot of what makes the Black Bulls unique is that we now know they, like, a bunch of them are arcane stages. Like, they are very weird in terms of what their magic is. But Magna's ability is not weird in the slightest. He just does the big fireball, or he can, like, smack the big fireball around. Like, it's very direct. So, what does he have now? I'm taking you down by myself. Hmm. Okay. Ah. And this isn't a, like, oh, he's so calm and collected. He's completely fine with this. Like, whatever Magnus' trick is, like, it doesn't surpass the fact that he is fighting, the strongest person in the universe for all intents and purposes right now. I'm telling you, taking you on won't even count as a fight. This isn't as good as the previous chapter, but I do just want to say, having these panels actually be all typesets is a billion times better than having them not be typesets. Like, even just, seeing the translated sound effects and stuff, like, it brings everything to mind way better than just, like, looking at the tiny little panels and trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, and Zora did try to stop him. Like, this isn't a guaranteed win. I mean, of course not. I just can't go back to everyone else and pretend that it doesn't bother me. Oh, so cocky. So, okay, he gets a free shot. Well, and I assume this free shot is going to be unbelievable. Okay. So it's like a fire chain. So, like, he didn't completely lose his magic. So it's not a, like, I'm going to burn away the tie between you and the devil you're contracted with. Like, he's still, like, in a level of devil union, but it's not as high. What, this is half? That's completely not. Oh! So, Magna stole it? Okay, that has nothing to do with his previous magic, right? Secret Flame Magic, Soul Chain Deathmatch. I put your magic and my magic together and then split it equally. Okay. What series has done this before? Like, this isn't... I know I've seen a series do this before. Maybe, like, Siren? But, like, that is... it's so brilliant. And it also doesn't seem like it's a, it's not that... how do I put it? It's not that he's giving away some of his flame magic and then receiving some, like, body magic and devil magic. It seems like it is just a pure power thing. Like, it is the... you're going to be, your power's cut in half because my power is basically nothing compared to yours. In exchange, I get half of that power, but I'm going to, like, have it as flame magic, as opposed to I'm also going to enter Devil Union. That I feel like would have been way too much. Because this does still create the problem of, like, even if his body magic isn't as strong as it was against Jack, it still is 50%. And he still has, like, all the tricks he would have. Like, he has different types of magic that he can use. He's still got wings, even. Like, it evens the playing field in terms of the amount of power, but fundamentally, like, Magna is still just going to try and punch him and shoot fireballs at him and stuff. It fits him so well, because it is the ultimate, like, I'm bringing you down to my level, I'm jumping up to your level, we're gonna do this equally, and we're going to just have a fist fight. Like, I don't think it's going to be just be a fist fight. Like, I do think there's still a big advantage to having multiple types of magic, to being in a devil union. Actually, I wonder how that works. Like, if he cancels out the devil union, does Magna also lose that magic? Or is it a, like, at the exact moment that I create the chain, we split our abilities, and then if you get rid of yours, it doesn't get rid of mine? That's a real... Also, actually, now it makes more sense why, like, Magna and Zora were paired up, even if it seems like Zora isn't going to help with this fight. Like, this feels very Zora-esque. Like, it's not a trap... It feels like a trap. It isn't a trap. Like, it is a direct curse almost. But it has that very tricky energy of, like, I'm going to do something that's very off the wall that is now completely even the odds in a really weird way. I would actually be very into it if we see Zora use some sort of, like, direct bomb attack now. Like, if it's a, I set up the trap and then immediately activate it. Like, like throwing a landmine, essentially. That'd be a cool way to show that these two have, like, learned from each other. But geez, what a cool ability. Yeah. I mean, I hope that is, like, the two of them are fighting, and then Jack, like, I think because Magna said, I want to do this one-on-one, I don't think Zora is going to intervene. That said, I feel like Jack doesn't care. And that is perfect to me because that would also, like, that would tip the scales. Like, Magna can do most of the damage, and then Jack can come in and, do the big choppy chop. Because, like, his blades were being effective. Like, they were effective prior to 100%. So, presumably, at 50% Devil Union, he should be able to cut him, especially since, like, his blades have been getting better and better. Yeah. I don't think this is going to be too tricky past this point. I feel like this is the big trump card. He's going to go down next chapter, unless we, like, cut away, but I hope we don't. Like, there's enough going on now that I feel like we can knock out the each member of the Dark Triad. Like, we gotta go by Bleach rules. Once you have a backup or someone else comes in and starts fighting, the villain, unless the villain has one more big twist, you gotta end it there. And I do feel like some of the weakest Bleach fights are the ones where, like, reinforcements come in and the fight's been reset, and then the villain's like, ha, you didn't realize I had a second resurrection. Anyways, that's Black Clover. I always act as if it's going to be a problem to rank Black Clover, but it's not. It's never. It's always right there. Yeah, the only other thing I have right now in the pre-recordeds is the Elusive Samurai, but once I'm done the live stream tomorrow, I will, like, do a quick poll and see, like, do you guys want Blue Box in here? Do you want Candy Flurry? Do you want 9 Dragons? I feel like you probably want 9 Dragons, actually. 9 Dragons has been pretty good. But, like, especially with, like, how wonky my recording times are now, I do want to beef up the pre-recordeds a little more so I can do those. Anyways, that's enough inside baseball. Let us move on to the Elusive Samurai, Chapter 14. It isn't quite as glorious as the end of the chapter, but still, it's a good pose. So what is Genba gonna do? Did he set himself on fire? Like, this, I imagine, is going to be the big, let's see, Genba's skills. Like, we've seen him do his impersonation trick. We've seen that he's as stealthy as the Hojo Brat, whose name I don't remember right now. Chapter 14, Command 1333. I assume referring to the command seal. And a rare shot where we can see Genba's actual mouth inside of the mask, as opposed to the mask just, being his mouth, quote-unquote. Okay. Like, is he going to just wait for Tokiyuki to run away? There's no way. He's got to actually beat them. But how? Ooh. I can't say I know much about killing, but when it comes to deception, there's no way a couple of uptight grunts can beat me. The word shinobi signifies stealth and appears in a medieval document called the Taiyaki that records the events of this time. I actually don't know when ninja became a thing. Like, I always associate ninja with the Warring States, but that's because I just kind of associate all, quote-unquote, old Japan with the Warring States era. Like, it is the most focused on era. So, I wonder if we're, if this is going to lead to either, Genba may have been the first shinobi, or if it is just a, in the future we would think of them as ninja, but at this point, they were so out of the cultural context that, these guys wouldn't know at all what kinds of movements they were dealing with. Sneaky move, but okay, yeah. So, can't shoot arrows if you don't have a bowstring. Yeah. Your storehouse is full of old documents, so I told my partner, that paper isn't for stealing, it's for burning. Okay, so they definitely took the Imperial commands, but, by setting the warehouse on fire, they're gonna have to they're gonna go back there at least. Because, it is simultaneously, they have other important stuff there, presumably, but also, if there's a chance that they could save the Imperial commands, they would want to. Also, is he on fire? The way it's drawn is, this part looks like fire, but, the way it's swirling around him is clearly meant to feel like an aura. I mean, it is a smoke bomb and a firebomb. Enter the ninja. But okay, I guess that also means we don't have to take this as he was literally in the fire, but rather, he's using the fire as a distraction. He was, placing himself here, so they would look at this fire, then look at that fire, then be fixated on it, and then by the time they looked back, he was gone. But yeah, very smooth moves. And he didn't have to try and kill them. I really appreciate that as a, not everyone is capable of direct combat in the series. So you can't, it isn't a question of, why didn't Genba try and kill them? It's he can't. He doesn't know anything about killing people. If he tried, they could have still, strong-armed him into submission. This was the smartest move. And that also means we still have 2 developed villains in the area that can continue to, be a problem. And setting the record straight, it's like, yeah, the only reason we were able to get out of this was because of Genva. Genva, even if you encounter a lord worth serving and you have no ulterior motives, squeeze him for all he's worth anyway. Fleece him until you reach the next life. Oh no, this poor horse. I mean, this is not that insane of a threat considering that, the Hojo clan's been wiped out. Like, Genva could do that. And yeah, fair. Like, I mean, it is all or nothing. Like, either Tokiyuki wins or he dies. And this is a much better answer than, like, yeah, he doesn't have the cash money in order to properly pay Genba the amount he wanted to pay each time. So this is better. Hey, get out of here if you can't show us the Imperial Command, it don't exist. So what are they going to do in the meantime? Because they can just go back to the Emperor and say, hey, yeah, our storehouse burned down, can you please give us another Imperial Command? Like, to be fair, I don't know the culture at this time. It could be a situation. I mean, no. They said in one of the previous chapters that this was just meant for them to buy time. So I'm guessing that it isn't going to be they go to the Emperor and the Emperor's like, you fools, you desecrated an important, document bearing my name. Therefore, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to give it to you again. So that does bring up the question of, like, what is the tactic here? Like, what is Tokiyuki going to do next to actually get rid of them? Okay. So, yeah, he was completely on board with getting another command in a month, but now he can't see Sua's territory. Why? All those men assisted in the overthrow of the Hojo clan? Okay. The Emperor says it's a hassle. It's honestly so cool to see this, like, in historical series, like bureaucracy specifically, because, like, bureaucracy's been around forever. It's not a modern thing. So is it just, like, so many people have put in, like, requests that the Emperor's just been like, okay, anything you requested before this point, not allowed, pushing it off the table, I'm not doing this paperwork. Is that it? Overwhelmed by the number of applications, the Emperor decided to allocate land according to his own will, and commanded all lands except those that belonged to the Hojo clans remain unchanged. Okay. I guess that would make sense, because, like, the initial dividing up of the Hojo lands would have been done relatively, like, quickly. Or, like, relatively early on. And so anything involving, like, supporters or whatnot, like, forget that. That doesn't matter. Sweet. Okay, so Yoroshige's lands are fine, but we still have these 2 around. Like, they're still gonna, be a problem. So, I hate that man. I do like this running joke of him being so upset with being, addressed casually. And the yo is honestly so weird. Like, it's anachronistic, but in a way that fits the series. It is the, like, he is very modern feeling. Or, he's very, like, non-hierarchical. Peace, banzai! Yeah, snap. Post-battle Tokiyuki looks so cute. Like, honestly, the bandages, like, around his chest do make him look really good. Like, it's the combo of it looking a little like a bra and also it, like, obviously showing that he has been in battle. Like, it really highlights his androgynous energy. Given his skills, wouldn't it be possible to slit Takeuchi's throat in his sleep? Oh, I mean, he's not a combat person, but I mean, you could teach him. You could get him, you could make him an assassin. This is a good opportunity for you to reassess your opponents, for Ashikaga Takeuchi is fathomless even to me. Like, yeah, even as someone who has essentially modern knowledge. We know so little about him, he's just a mystery, and we still have not, like, delved into that shot of his eye full of other eyeballs. Like, I'm guessing what we're hinting at here is, no one understands why he would have done what he did. Like, my pet theory is still the eyeballs were meant to signify his retainers, or, like, the people behind him. The idea that he seems like this upstanding hero, but he is more of a pawn than anything else. But yeah, I also appreciate how practical it is. Like, it is the big ol', like, well, we have a clear answer. I hope that, we do learn more about... How would you do this, though? I mean, I guess, there must be an entire Ashikaga clan, right? So maybe they'll, like, look into that. They'll see, like, his life. Like this would be a really good time to delve into Takuji's backstory, or into like what people know about his backstory. He seems like the kind of character that we're not really going to do a lot with until much later. Like he'll do things, but I don't think the main characters are going to meet him for a long time. So yeah, this would be a good way to build him up. Solid chapter. Like Genva completely sold me. I still like some of what he's doing like really pushes the limits of sanity, but at the same time I do think that makes him really cool. Like that is just his character. Since the last chapter I have like been able to settle more into his vibe, into how like mythical he feels. And like of the retainers, I do genuinely like him the most. Like we still need to have an arc where we focus more on the retainers. We already had, like, I know what they can all do, but I don't know anything about them. Whereas like Genba, I've got a full backstory. I know his motives. I get why he would be here, and I can still see how he could betray Tokiyuki, but I don't think he will. And like he's still got that self-centered edge to him. He's still going to do this for the money. He's still going to like milk Tokiyuki for everything he's got. Like there's a lot there, and I'm not feeling that with the others. So yeah, I'm excited to see more about the characters we already have, and like I think the fact that we haven't introduced more and more and more villains, like the fact that Sound Guy was already set up before, and now we've just been focusing on him a little more, like it's making me hope that the cast isn't going to balloon too much more, and that we will, like, for maybe the next half volume or so, focus on the characters we already have. But yeah, that's really it. It's like, and if all I want from the series is like, if what I want from the series is just more of what's already there, that's a good sign. All right, that is the Elusive Samurai. I'll put it above Black Clover this week. There's a little more there. Yeah. Okay. After this is the live stream, so see ya later. Start recording so I don't forget to start recording. And there we are. That's it. That's how the magic happens. Now everything I am looking at is being preserved on beautiful, crisp 720p, which is actually, ever since I got my new monitor, no one's mentioned this, but all my videos look worse now, because before I had a 1080p monitor that I was like squishing down to 720p. But now, why do I have all this up? Now I have the problem of having a 1440p monitor, which is 4 times 720p, which means that the squish is even bigger now. Huh. And also, my second monitor seems to be a plasma, maybe? Because I've got some ghosting on it. I don't remember ghosting being a problem for a long time. But yeah, it's been a long time. Thank y'all for showing up. It's been ancient. I'm sure you guys don't remember me. I also have to rescind a big dunk that no one saw yet, but it was a big dunk I made during the pre-recordeds in which I said that Oda was a hack because his Aladdin was a really bad one. I kind of forgot that, Weekly Shonen Jump, like the American side, does change the cropping on stuff. So I tracked down the Japanese cover, which is insane. Like, it's so covered with text and nonsense. But there's much more Luffy here. And it's much clearer here. Like, he's actually wearing an outfit. Like, he's got the big baggy pants as well. He's got a genie lamp that Brook is coming out of. So, like, yeah, he looks a lot better here than he does here. And honestly, I mean, I guess it's because they wanted to squish more people above him and whatnot, but it feels like there's actually a fair bit of negative space here that they could have filled up with characters. Like, they could have laid everyone else out a bit differently and then preserved the Luffy, or just made him a bit smaller, actually. Why not just make him a little smaller? Like, I get that you want Luffy to dominate the image. Like, if he was smaller, I guess there wouldn't really be a focal point to the whole thing. But do we need one? Come on. Anyways, I was able to guess, like, half of these. Like, you got the obvious, like, Aladdin, Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, Momotaro over there, either Hansel or Gretel, one of the two. Got Peter Pan, I guess. But then there's a lot of these where I'm like, I don't know what Sakamoto is. What is going on here? Oh yeah, he could be Robin Hood. Like, because he's got, like, the sparklies over here, I was guessing more, like, that's supposed to be the flying stuff. Got the 3 little pigs over here. I was gonna say Fox and the Hound. That is absolutely not correct. The turtle and the hare. What is the myth about a monkey and a crab that like eating? Got the obvious Snow White here. This corner is a bit of a big mystery. Also, is this a speech bubble? Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, that's... Oh, I guess that's here. But this also doesn't make any... What is this? Is this supposed to be a bag, perhaps? Because it looks like a speech bubble, but it's not. Oh, I didn't see that it was connected to MASH. But okay, so MASH is the old man who dug up a giant radish, the classic fairy tale that I don't know about. What did I say for Yuji? I think I just said Yuji was Guts from Berserk. I was completely lost on Yuji. What myth is this? Well, I guess he could be Mordred, now that I think about it. Like, I don't think of Arthurian legend as being on the same level as, like, you know, Snow White, but that would make the most sense to me. And then what in the heck is happening with Senku here? Not just in terms of the myth, but, like, in terms of the art? Boichi, what are you doing? It's not that I think it's bad, it's just, it's so very different. Like, I usually like how much Boichi's art in these big things, like, is very differentiated because he has that very strong, hard lining. And it seems like he wanted to soften it up. I guess to get across more of that, like, fairy tale energy. But it's weird. Yeah, there's so many that just, you know, get sprinkled in. Or, like, there's a lot of, like, visuals I've seen where it's a very obvious, like, this isn't just a reference to the story. It is a reference to this depiction of the story. Like, the main character from Ayakashi Triangle here. I feel like she might be Cinderella, but, like, not the Disney design. Like, Roboco is very clearly the Disney Snow White design. But this, like, I can't think of any other design this would be in. Like, there's no, like, obvious connection here. Actually, let me check this one. Do we see her feet here? No, we see even less, actually. I was wondering if we'd see, like, the glass slippers. This is very obvious to tell. And what the heck is happening with Deku? Okay, I think that's everything. I'm burning it real thin now. Let's move on. By the way, I do like that Nine Dragons Ball Parade got to have 3 characters in there. Really cool. Like, usually having 2 characters is... I mean, a couple of these have 2 characters, actually. That's really... Like, I'm happy that's happening more often. And then, I guess you could say that Undead Unluck has 3 characters here, if you include Clothy. Yeah. But yeah, it like, if you're going to have a busy cover, it's gotta be actually busy. And I like this energy. It feels fun. It feels exciting. Okay, that's enough putting off the inevitable. Oh no, I don't have my phone. Oh no, my bits. The classic bit. How will anyone survive without the bits? Okay, got it. No, I don't want to DM someone this word, or this sentence, this phrase, if you will. We are moving on to Candy Flurry, Chapter 2, Just Run Away. How? Flurry, I mean, to be fair, I probably said it a little weird, but how did they get a Florelia out of... Floraria? Floraria. I genuinely don't know what that means. Sorry, we're jumping back out. What is a Floraria? Okay, what does it mean in English? Okay, so I guess it's just Spanish for florists. We'll see how often that happens going forward. For those of you who didn't see my reaction to Chapter 1, I was about Chapter 1. Like, it didn't really set itself apart. It felt a little like the start of, like, the big color spread. As much as I liked it, had the very big, like, this looks like the same pose that, you know, Zip Man sold itself on. And then the story itself, like, it had, like, tones of World Trigger in it. Like, we've got the, you know, main character who is, you know, who's, you know, part of this, like, persecuted, super powerful class. And then you have basically the, you know, fantasy cop who is gonna go after him, but they're actually gonna have to work together. Yeah, like, there wasn't a whole lot there that set itself apart, that made me go, this is a really cool, specific thing that I'm really into. It was shades of a bunch of other stuff. But that's fine. Like, I think, you know, I used to be very, very focused on the first chapter, but now I feel like, you know, a series that has an unbelievably good first chapter is preferable. But I'm more into the idea of having more time to space things out and to let the characters develop a little. So let's see. I do like this color spread. Like, this feels very Bleach-esque in how it is like, it is just all pop art. It's like, I can't say it's incredible looking, but it has a strong aesthetic to it. And for a series like Candy Flurry, that also, like, the color pages last chapter were good. They had a strong aesthetic to them. I don't know how much they're going to be able to, like, have that carry the series, but if that's what they're going for, I'm not against it. So, last chapter, we got the big reveal of, well, the premise is, lollipops destroy Tokyo. Also, it's been 5 years. There's been no rebuilding. Like, there are petitions to rebuild Tokyo, but there's been no progress. And also, like, the lollipops seem to be more or less all together. Actually, this shot makes them look a little more destroyed. But I remember seeing a shot that made them look like they were, completely untouched since, since they dropped 5 years ago. Yeah, fair. My big pet theory, like, Tsumugi did see another person there with a lollipop. Like, she believes that there was a second lollipop user, and that's the person who destroyed Tokyo. My pet theory is that the company that made these candies did make multiples, but they, broadcast the idea of there being only one of each in order to create scapegoats. Like that, like the Tokyo incident, plus the fact that candy users have this propensity for getting into trouble or becoming criminals. Like it makes me feel like there's probably going to be people who have the same candy and they're getting the people who actually have that candy in trouble. He made his way into town. The sweets user, Macaron. I'm so curious, like, I want to see how he fights, but also, like, specifically, I want to see what Rosette's deal is. Like, why is this high schooler fighting sweets users? It doesn't seem like he has any special abilities, or like they didn't set anything up to that regard, but we got time. I'm curious because, like, especially with, like, powers as devastating as these sweets abilities, like the fact that you can do so much widespread damage with them. It feels like, they should probably have guns or something. I mean, I could also see the possibility of, like, sweets are only effective against sweets, or, like, weapons used to eat food are effective against sweets because sweets are food, but against, like, traditional weapons, nothing happens. Her flip-flop between, like, trying to take advantage of her cute girl look and then the hard contrast of her not really being a cute person inside is good. Like, I like the gimmick. There's also the possibility, since we did do the setup of she never, like, eats the candy right away, she likes to, like, slowly unwrap them or slowly savor them. There's the possibility that someone else stole her lollipop, used it to destroy Tokyo, and then she ate it later. But I feel like she would have noticed, right? Actually, how do the sweets powers work? Like, is she saying that just because she has this inherent feeling? Or did she try to make a lollipop at some point that big? Like, in a secluded area, I assume. This doesn't seem like a good plan. They go to the same school now. They're in the same class. Aw, look at how gloopy the inside of that macaron is. That doesn't seem fresh. Or rather, it seems too fresh. Also, is he, like, suffocating the agents, or is he, like, crushing their heads? Oh, come on, I swear, if we cut back to this and he's already been defeated, I'm gonna be annoyed. I want to see how he fights. I want to understand the logistics. Like, I was actually just having a conversation with Tequila Zaku on, like, a series that have too much fights in them, or, like, that are focused entirely on the powers and, like, the power sets and all that. And it's not that I care that much about the inherent rules of the power sets, it's just, at this point in Chapter 2, it's more of a, I don't understand how Rosette works. And I feel like if I see our Agent Boy fighting, I'll get a better grasp on, like, why he's a part of Rosette. Or rather, why Rosette hired a teenager in order to do this. Okay, and she is actually considering, like, getting out of the neighborhood, like, actually moving. So, I mean, first of all, I guess that's pretty obvious that she's not living with her parents. But also, like, go on the run again. So, was she caught before? Or, I guess not caught. Like, she's never been caught. Or, like, they've never known her identity. But did she have to escape at some point? I mean, I'm still kind of confused about the logistics of her, hiding her identity and saying no one can know, but then she just knocked out the donut man from Chapter 1 and then let him go to jail. Like, it feels like, he could probably build a profile on what she looked like. No, you can't. This isn't allowed. You can't job this hard. Like, sorry, I keep on tangenting, but this makes me feel emotions. Rukia, for instance, in Bleach, she jobs in chapter 1, and then we don't really see her in a combat situation, but that's fine, because, at that point, she is solely a support character for, a long, long, long time. We're not given the idea of, it would be interesting to see her fights, because she explicitly doesn't have powers anymore. Whereas this boy is supposedly capable of fighting a sweets user, but we've never seen him win, and we also don't understand how he could do this. We could pivot into the gag of course he can't win because he can't. But then that would raise the question of why does Reset keep on doing this? When we saw the all the defeated agents over here, they don't even have utensils draped across the ground or anything. They seem to have just gone in fist swinging. Even this guy doesn't seem to have a weapon on him. What happens? I should just run away. This is actually really good. I was a little mixed with her, pivot in chapter 1 of, I could get away here, but oh crap, I can't. I gotta, save him. But this one hits me a lot harder. I legitimately can't imagine the culture of this world. Specifically the culture around sweets. Because, yeah, it would depend on, the sweet in question. Imagine lollipops are extremely still verboten after 5 years. Or, yeah, because, yeah, a lollipop is such a specific design as well. Whereas, different types of candy bars, for instance, I imagine would still be okay. Because even if a specific, if the Kit Kat sweets user, that can't be legal, right? But if the Kit Kat sweets user committed an atrocity, people might not like Kit Kats for a while, but they might come back around eventually. Whereas if Tokyo got annihilated, I feel like people would be pretty upset. The Kit Kat sweets user. I'll give them the artist credits. The macaron mouth here is pretty scary. Also, actually, this does bring to mind the ITLC problem of, I don't know why these people are doing this. Why is this man going to kill this tiny child? I would definitely understand why he would be, committing crimes. Sure, whatever, you got power corrupts, but why? What is the internality of this man? Oh, okay, so... I wonder if we'll keep, it's been a while since we've had, a helmeted hero in Jump. I feel like Zipman was the last time I could remember, in terms of, a new character debuting. Actually, wait, I guess Takamoto Days technically counts, with the mascot outfit, sort of. But I'd be cool if, her design, if she had a fighting uniform where she had to, keep herself hidden. Because I could see that being a cool, using the power of the lollipop in order to try and rehabilitate the idea that lollipop equals, the person who destroyed Tokyo. Now, if you're a little child and you see this, is this going to make you feel better about sweets? Because I definitely understand, being in a war zone covered in macarons would make you, you'd be pretty traumatized. You probably wouldn't like macarons. Would this make you like lollipops more? Oh, he's doing something! But okay, he got a blow in. I want to find the sweets user who gave lollipops a bad rap and beat them down. Yeah. I think the mangaka has decent choreography for, I can never remember her name, Smoogie. I think the mangaka knows how to draw the impact of, a big hammer in how, the lollipop moves. I feel the weight of it. Whereas this is, it's kind of nothing. Okay, where are we leaving it here? Is he going to let her slide as a vigilante? He's very by the books. He is absurdly by the books. I feel like he's gonna arrest her anyways. Okay. So she did win him over. Alright. I'm into it. It's been a while since I've read a manga with a character who has an explicit secret identity. It's more of a Western comic sort of thing. And I think that could be pretty fun. Yeah, I was always going to give it until chapter 3, but I'm definitely feeling better about it. Like, it's on the upswing. It's got a hurdle to climb, but I don't want to dunk on it too much. I mean, I spent a lot of this time interrogating it, but at the same time, like, I didn't mean that in a I don't think they're going to address this, and so I'm going to say these things. I mean it in a genuine, like, these are the thoughts coming to my mind, and I want to say them so that when the series does address them, it is something that I've like put out there. I could see Fork Boy, being kicked out of her sets. Like, at some point, we're definitely going to get, number one, a reset user or a reset agent who is also a sweets user. Two, something where it is like, I'm envisioning, like, someone who uses, like, chopsticks, but then they have one chopstick, and then they manifest the candy of a lollipop on the top of it. And they're like, you thought this was a utensil, but have you considered that lollipops have utensils built into them? Actually, I guess she could do the same thing. Like, it depends on how exactly her ability works. Like, could she just manifest a lollipop stick, or does she have to manifest the entire lollipop? Like, I imagine at the very least she could manifest the whole lollipop and then cut off the top, and then say, I'm a reset agent. The one who uses the bow staff, the famous thing you used to eat. Yeah. Like, the only limit we have thus far is her saying that she couldn't have been the one who destroyed Tokyo because, like, her abilities don't go that far. But we don't really know what the abilities are, really. And, like, in Chapter 1, it seemed like Donut Guy was, he went berserk. Like, he got too donutty. It doesn't seem like it, but at the same time, like, she did jump off of a building with her lollipop, and, like, I get that she used the weight of like the weight of falling to smash into him super hard, and also to, like, slow down her own descent. But that should have, like, really hurt her arms. I feel like there's got to be some level of, even if she can't, like, make the lollipops levitate, like, she is compensating for some of the strength with lollipop magic. But yeah, so far, like, I don't need everything to be spelled out immediately, but it's a little vague. It's hard for me to get into the fights when I don't really get it. Yeah. Like, it's in the very, like, these are the bad guys. I'm going to use the power of the bad guy to fight against them. Yeah, it's a little ridery, but not really. I think that's actually why I'm also kind of excited. Like, with her wearing the helmet, it did give me minor rider vibes. In terms of the ranking, so far, let me center this so you can see it a bit better. I put the Elusive Samurai above Black Clover. This was a good Elusive Samurai. Candy Flurry, I feel like, has to go on the very bottom, though. Like, there's more promise there than there was last week, but it's still pretty meh. And I've said everything I need to say about it, so we're just gonna move on to Blue Box, Chapter 3, Pretending to be a Stranger. Blue Ox, of course, famously the series about. I mean, I guess you could do a romance series called Blue Ox. I feel like it'd be more like horoscope themed or something. So last time, actually, what happened last time? I remember Chapter 1 had the big, like, oh, she's living in my house now reveal. What was Chapter 2? Right, it was the Wish Ribbon. It was the, like, train until this falls off. That was pretty fun. And the reveal that she has been watching him this whole time. Like, he thought that he was only being a creep and staring at her, but she has been noticing him as well. Pretending to be a stranger, what would that be? Like, I'm guessing their relationship is going to take a small walk back? I mean, I guess it's going to be the main character who pretends to be a stranger. Because I don't know why Chinatsu would. Like, she's been pretty open about everything. Although that could be this could be the reverse swing of, okay, now she's getting self-conscious, and, oh no, why is she doing that? Does she really hate me? I don't get it. The intimacy of saying, see you later. I get it. I say see you later sometimes. Like, it seems like part of the conflict we're building up is the idea that he wants to go to nationals, and, she'll also go to nationals, and then he'll feel like they're on the same page. But in order to do that, he is fighting against distractions. One distraction being the fact that they live in the same house. It is in order to get closer in one way, I'm going to ignore the closeness that we have in another way. Or rather, like, I'm too uncomfortable with this type of closeness. Like, Chapter 2 also had a lot of him being very uncomfortable and having to, like, work his way up to being able to physically interact with her in the same house. But okay, so that's what we're doing. It is I can't acknowledge that we live in the same house, so I'm going to have to pretend to be a stranger. Very, very smooth, I see. Okay, it seems like she took it well enough. But yeah, that's... I mean, I hope he clears this up very quickly. Like, if we end this chapter and there's still this rift here, it's gonna suck. I mean, do they not have each other's message? Or I guess I guess they don't have their like each other's numbers. I always think of that as being an immediate like, why wouldn't you do that? But that is usually like a milestone in this sort of series. Then, of course, if you can't text each other, it allows for much more miscommunication possibility. But yeah, that was pretty harsh. I feel like she's gonna take it a bit better than that, though. Like, if nothing else, she has been very, like... She's had the big older sister energy. And when I think of the big older sister energy, I think of someone who can look past this kind of misunderstanding and get what you were really going for. Or they get what you're really going for, but they also want to make you sweat a little bit. Okay, here we go. Can he do the extremely non-shonen thing of clearing up this misunderstanding halfway through the chapter? I do think this miscommunication is pretty fun. Like, I like the dynamic of he got over his extreme fear of talking to Chinatsu in chapter 2, but no one else knows that. So it is the simultaneous, like, keep up your, like, extremely bad communication. Because I think that's a milestone, even though it's not. What is this move? Is this a rhythmic gymnast move? So direct. Yeah, so I imagine she's not gonna react. I mean, I don't know what you expected. Go tell her. Explain yourself. But to be fair, we haven't seen a lot of, like, emotional weakness from her. Like, we saw a little in chapter 1. So I guess this is a good way of showing that, she's got pitfalls. Her feelings can get hurt. And in fact, like, they can get hurt a lot. Like, it is also when there's a person who you think is super duper cool and can do no wrong and can have no wrong done to them, it's very easy to hurt them very deeply without realizing you're doing so. But okay, he's actually coming around. I'd prefer to be open about this and even show off our situation. Like, is this not going to be the premise of the series? Will he actually just say we live together and then risk pissing off the entire team? I'd be into that. Okay, here we go. Come on, nut up. I feel like the mangaka is trying to really, like, I feel like, how do I put this? The manga feels like it is really coasting on the power of being able to draw Chinatsu. Like, very little else about the series, like, in terms of art, feels very standout. Except for shots of Chinatsu. And to be fair, it's good. But at the same time, like, even something like, Haven't You Heard It, Sakamoto? Like, even that series, I feel like there's other stuff going on. Okay. So he did fully properly explain himself, and Shatsu did have a different idea of what was going on here. So, how did she take it? I just thought it was because you had a crush on that girl in the rhythmic gymnastics team. Oh, this is actually a really strong three-way miscommunication that is being dismantled this early on. Like, I'm honestly really happy about that. Okay, so she also took that as a, like, are you going to be a threat to me situation? If worst comes to worst, I could sleep in the shed from now on or search for dirt cheap housing. Jeez. So she was really thinking about this one. Now, why is this the panel we're ending this chapter on? Is this going to be a love triangle? Also, this page is the most powerful, like, evidence I could use for the statement of this mangaka is trying to push the whole series based on the ability to draw Chinatsu really well. It's such a powerful pout. I mean, it really is the sequence here. Like, the cuteness is amplified by the fact that she has this, like, very open shock, and then it transitions to her, like, trying to hold it in and be upset. But okay. This is one of those classic, I say I want something, and then when I get it, I get upset. in that, like, this is a, relatively slow start. It's, it doesn't feel like it's being pushed as hard as possible by absolute fear of cancellation, but I'm not super into the relationship itself. Like, I'll still give it another chapter or two, but I feel like I'm probably going to end up dropping it before Candy Flurry. It's not that anything about it is bad, it's just that apart from literally the illustrations of Chinatsu, there's not a whole lot that I'm super into. Like, I like the internality of the characters. I'm glad that this is a story about, two characters who do have a lot of emotional empathy, or how do I put this? They have a fair amount of emotional intelligence, but they're both tuned in different ways, and so the conflict comes from them both trying to be understanding, but being understanding in the wrong way, or operating under miscommunication. It's good for what it is. It feels like it's Unjump like in a way I didn't really expect it to be Unjump like. So I'm interested enough, but I'm not really hooked. We'll see. For now, it goes below Candy Flurry. And with that, let us move on to Nine Dragons Ball Parade, Chapter 11, How to Leverage Talents. Oof. So last time, we got to see a little more of why Tsubaki is bad, or why he has so many problems. And it does seem to be a fundamental lack of communication. And I did praise the series quite a bit for the fact that it went for a hard instead of beating down the the nail that stands too tall, instead they're going to give him more to do. They're going to have him just direct the infield. So how do we explain this? So having everyone work in seamless coordination would be ideal, but that only applies when we all have well-rounded skill sets. Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. They're not aiming for the best of the best, because the best of the best are all going to be recruited by now. They're aiming for people who are really weirdly min-maxed. That applies to both this team and to the whole premise of the series. So yeah, I guess the question then is, can he handle this? Is this going to be a situation where Tsubaki wishes that everyone would do exactly what he wanted, but when he can make them all do it, he'll still have problems? Or is this going to work out? Tsubaki, the rest of us aren't geniuses like you, so would you be willing to direct us and save this pitiful crew with your brilliant abilities? Oh no, he's going to explode. This is way too much. What amazing servants! A genius shouldn't have to stoop to the level of bad players. That's not right. It's the opposite. My role here is to be the messiah who leads them to salvation. Oh, this feels very there's way more ego in it, but I've recently been watching Iron Fist, and the main character of Iron Fist has this quirk where he tends not to give people context for things. If he knows something to be a fact, he usually talks as if everyone else in the room knows what's going on. And the series does understand this. There's a lot of times where people will react and go I don't know what you're talking about, or what do you mean? Go back. What is this? And it's something that I've grown to find very endearing. And so this exact shot of him, what everyone else sees is Azuki buttering him up, and then Tsubaki immediately says, "Certainly, my little lambs." We skimmed over the whole Messiah complex that was all internal, and he's just yeah, of course. Of course you would assume that I am your god. And it is actually cool that we've seen Ryudo do a couple different things here. We've seen his, real pitches, we've seen him, using 70% pitches to try and conserve stamina, and now we're going to see, him actually allow his pitches to be hit. Even though this is the Tsubaki arc, I'm glad that, everyone's getting a little focus. Everyone's been doing stuff. We've pulled back a little from Tsubasa, but I feel that's because once the team starts building even more, I think Tsubasa and Tsubaki are going to really rub up against each other in a really bad way. We've already seen the seeds of that, but I feel it's going to be a constant problem. I feel that's going to be a Volume 5 or Volume 6 arc when it finally comes to a head and they have to actually really deal with it. Oh, is he saying savior in English? Also, look at this face. Oh, look at the cat smile. It's so smug. This is so powerful. Is it hypocritical for me to deny a series the right to exist based solely on a single character design, but then allow it for another one? I mean, I guess that's not really it, though, because I've already been like, Nine Dragons won me over way before Tsubaki showed up. But if we get into a slump, like, if we get a bad arc, I feel like he might still pull me through it. Okay, getting that sense. As soon as he pitches zip to the left. Dang. I don't believe my eyes. Tsubaki directed the second baseman. Impossible! Since when does he offer his teammate support? But yeah, that's incredible, because it also, like, it makes other people shine, but he can still apply that to himself and say, like, that was all me. Even if it was other people making the catches, secretly it's all me. I feel like that might be the best way to deal with him. The team might have to just, let him believe that he is the Messiah, while subtly accepting, internally that, okay, we're all doing a good job. We just can't say that out loud, or otherwise we're gonna bring him down. That whispered compliment is so powerful. But okay, again, didn't think it would come up this early. But yeah, like, we are cementing it. Like, I don't think we're gonna get over this hurdle anytime soon. Okay, and so, is Tsubaki going... I mean, yeah, like, Tsubaki doesn't understand what part of the field he's supposed to be in. So I guess, like, this is going to be the big, wait, I can get this one. Like, even if he doesn't... Like, whether he succeeds or fails, like, the hurdle is that he is, he is acquiescing to someone else. Like, he is outright saying, this is what I'm going to do, please don't run into me. There's no good reason for the shortstop to feel this. So, what is his thought process? Like, yeah, in that case, like, narratively speaking, this can't be an ego move. Which is it? Okay, so he is trying to get them all out. Holy crap. I mean, even that is a put down, but I'm like, it's a compliment with an inherent put down in it. Like, I do think he is trying to legitimately say, you did a good job. This is prime Dojin material. Like, I already love their dynamic. This pose. Speaking of which, you have Tsubaki and Tsurugi. Who are you? I haven't really thought about this. I always assumed that, like, the legend of the Nine Dragons would begin once the team was all together and they actually, like, went into the proper baseball season. But it's possible that they're going to get a lot of buzz, like, as they're building the team. Like, I could definitely see one of the last, like, 2 recruits being someone who isn't sought out, but rather they come to Kokuryuzan specifically because they have heard, like, hey, you're collecting all the crazy outcasts. You have a really wild team. I want to be in there. Now, is he saying, isn't that because he remembers their legendary streak? Or is it isn't that team that doesn't have a baseball team? Or, that school that doesn't have a baseball team anymore? What happens? Aww, that's such a direct compliment. Like, that's so actually nice. Okay, so, I mean, like, I wasn't imagining that the Nine Dragons would, go up against Hakuo anytime soon, so I'm glad that we're also setting up other rivals that will, be there. Like, the game plan is slowly being set up along with the entire team. And from that game forward, the Kokuryuzan name slowly began to circulate in the world of baseball, bringing fresh air with it. Okay, so way faster than I thought. Are these 3 of our potential new recruits? Like, this boy doesn't seem too distinctive, but these 2, like, they look like main characters. Fantastic recruitment arc, holy crap. Like, Tsubasa's was okay, but it was very on the nose. It was a very, like, every chapter, my response was sort of like, okay, so I'm pretty sure I know what the next chapter is going to be, and it was within one standard deviation of that. Whereas this was off the wall. This felt very fresh and very different. I don't know how well Nine Dragons is doing right now, but I really hope people are into it. Because, like, I can see the seeds of the next big jump series. Like, even with something like Haikyuu, I wasn't super into the first volume. Like, I'm definitely way more into Nine Dragons than I was with early Haikyuu. Like, that's why I dropped Haikyuu. I could definitely see, like, this building up into an absolute juggernaut of a series. Especially because, like, in the same way that I was feeling weird about how slow Blue Box was, I'm really, really happy with how slow Nine Dragons is. Or, the fact that, because I can't say it's slow even. Like, sure, the recruitment of each character takes a fair bit of time, and the fact that we're going to, like, spend this long on recruiting characters is, like, that's taken quite a while. But at the same time, it doesn't feel slow. Every arc feels like pretty breakneck. It feels like we're getting all this information about the characters, and we're getting more information on, like baseball. It doesn't feel like there's any wasted space. It never feels like there's filler. Like, if anything, I kind of want more downtime. But at the same time, like, what we do get is, like, there's enough casual moments in each chapter for me to not really need a full downtime chapter. Like, I enjoy downtime because we get to see the characters, like, communicating in a way they wouldn't usually. And I feel like the types of communication we get through all of Nine Dragons is varied enough that I don't really need to see them all, like, at the mall or whatever. Yeah, the paneling isn't anything too special, but, like, the kinetic energy of the baseball when it's being played just makes me happy. That's all I can say. It makes me happy. So with that, does this go to the top? I think so. Like, what I've really been enjoying about this current arc of the Elusive Samurai is the teamwork aspect, I'd say. Like, there is a team in the Elusive Samurai, but most of that team hasn't really been explored. Like, weirdly enough, as of chapter 14, the newest character that has been added to the series has more interiority, and I get more of what they're doing than anyone else. But it is like the main character's whole group is so much less developed than the Nine Dragons are in like 11 chapters. Or legitimately in like 10 chapters. We didn't need this chapter for me to think of Tsubaki as being, extremely well developed and interesting. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's if he's got in his back pockets, like the quick, if the series isn't doing too well, he can quickly whip them out and go like, all right, here's their deals. Let's do a quick, like, fast recruitment, and then we'll do a hard skip at chapter 19 to Hakuo. I hope that doesn't happen, because legitimately, like, if the series gets canceled when the team is fully formed, but the entire series is just, like, arcs as good as this, focusing on each individual person added to the Nine Dragons, it would still be really good. I don't know if the publishing, like, I don't know if manga culture in Japan right now, or specifically, like, in Weekly Shonen Jump, is okay with that. Like, fingers crossed. I really, really hope that it gets a long, long run. And yeah, like, I feel like we're waiting to do a big pitcher arc later on. Like, right now, he is the glue that holds everyone together. He's very important in each individual arc. But I don't, like, I think we're waiting to get, like, we had his big crisis in chapter 1, and I feel like we're waiting until a bit later for him to have a second crisis that everyone comes together to help him with. Theoretically, it depends on whether, like, Blue Box is not a sports series. It has sports trappings, but it is fundamentally a, like, it is a romance series. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, like, Nine Dragons is one of the, 4 series running in Jump right now that isn't also trying to be a gag manga, so, like, as a straight sports series, I think it could be pretty damn good. I mean straight, of course, as in, it, like, the focus is primarily sports, not that it doesn't have copious amounts of characters I want to ship together. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to talk myself into a spiral, so we are going to zip right along out of here. Did I do the rank? Yes, I did. So it is safe to move on to Undead Unluck, Chapter 61. Look at this big, smug, punchable face. You raise the strong and kill them just to test your strength. Even if it means my life, your strength must be negated. I feel like by the time Unlock shows up, my phone will finally start writing it as Undead Unluck. And that's going to be a problem, actually. I just realized I don't want my phone to read what I say as Unluck. Because, well, I never unlock anything with my phone. But like I do like smart technology and stuff. I feel like I'm going to get to the point where I will have like digital locks, or I'll have like a voice imprint on my phone so I can wake it up just by saying unlock. And at that point, I feel like my phone is going to understand that unluck is a word I say a lot, and then it will read my saying unlock as unluck and refuse to open. So you know what? I'm willing to settle for an entire life of Undead Unluck chapter whatever. Interests. I've been around for 170 years, but that combat technique is new to me. Okay, so I believe last chapter he made the direct statement of, in order to get rid of 15 years of Rip's life, or, to age him back 15 years, I had to use up 150 years of my own life. So he must be 20 now, like physically 20. That makes sense. Yeah. I'm so curious. Last chapter I was questioning, like, does he have a negator ability, or is his whole thing just like, like Mui? Does he just use artifacts? Plus, obviously his martial arts abilities. Because so far he hasn't done anything that I would obviously point out as being like, that's obviously a negator ability, So how do you beat him? You're right. I mean, I guess depending... There's no one else, like, on Under that we have immediately pointed out as being Chinese. Because the other thing could have been, he had to relearn Chinese, like, from a negator. But I feel like that would be too weirdly circular. Like, the obvious read, the Occam's razor read is that he's got to just be a negator. I mean, that might be stage 2 of the fight, actually. Like, he might just not be using his negator ability either because it isn't a good combat ability, or because he wants to be the strongest null creation, and so the only way to actually properly test people is to not use his ability. So, they have a chance of showing him what they've got. Okay, Andy immediately addressing my concerns. Weapons are uncouth. Fight me with your bare hands. Also, this isn't much of a reveal, but I am glad that that Feng's response to seeing the 10 twist punch wasn't, oh, I've seen that before. That would be 50 times more concerning than him being excited by it. Oh, poor Fuko. Like, it's important for her to be there, but in this point, she feels very extraneous. She is here just to suffer. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't made her, like, not like a power suit, but like some sort of like neck brace at the very least. Or I'm surprised that her clothing doesn't have like bracers installed in them, so that when Andy does all his nonsense, she doesn't like snap her neck. He just stepped on my foot, but now my body can't move. I mean, he could be another like negator with the ability to paralyze people. These are tactics born of you being undead, but I see it as mere arrogance. Right, the whole, like, I'll die as many times as I need to. Like, it is a clear showing of, like, I know you're not really gonna kill me, so I have time to try and figure out what your whole deal is. Oof. You only negate things directly linked to death. Bleeding and aging falling tech. Wait a minute. Huh. If you consider the risk of even a small laceration leading to something like tetanus, your regeneration makes sense. But what about something that doesn't cause bleeding, like a dislocation? So this is like, it is supposed to be dislocation. It isn't like he's making Andy's bones explode, which is what I assumed they were. That's really cool, because yeah, I don't think we've ever seen Andy like just have a dislocated elbow. Like anytime something like that has happened, it's been like 5 seconds before he has shot his entire arm off. Like he intentionally performs really over-the-top grievous wounds on himself. Like almost everything he does looks like something that would kill you. Or like, yeah, like even when he does the like, fall from a great height, shatter his legs, then, make new legs super fast to fling himself forward. Like even if like there are broken bones there, he is also making his legs explode, which would kill him otherwise. Yeah. Like it's a tricky line to walk, but the idea of him, of him being closer to his actual literal negator name, like he is undead, as opposed to just having regeneration. Like, that's a really cool line to thread. Yeah, like, tattoos have nothing to do with him dying. This card, presumably, like, it's in his brain, but it's not going to kill him. Like, it is a safe head injury. So he doesn't, like, immediately regenerate it. Slash, he can put it back in. Oh, it's spinny leg time. If he was an external type, I wonder how Unluck would work with him. Like, could he, like, could Fuko touch him, and then would his, like, external negator, Undead, be capable of redirecting the Unluck from him to someone else? But okay, so, like, his fighting style, at the very least, is not a negator ability. His strength is pure technique. Yeah, I like that so, like, I really do like that. Like, it shows that his desire to be the strongest in all creation is, like, that absurd. Like, Andy, with his new, like, twist techniques, the amount of power he can output is completely unbelievable. And yet, in this world, a human being is capable of training themselves to the point where they can be on equal terms with that. Also, I did rewatch Deadpool 2016 very recently, and like, a lot of it's pretty in hindsight. But this does remind me of the scene on the bridge where he's, like, breaking all of his limbs against Colossus. Like, Andy's 2 arms down, and now he's trying to use the legs, and he's probably gonna break those too. Oh, he withstood it. Oh, this is a classic Andy. Like, when you see the whites of his eyes and he is suffering deeply, like, that's a good Andy. That's also a really cool idea. Like, that was supposed to be a piercing blow, but he could force himself to regenerate his insides fast enough to contain all the damage. Care to learn my Shin Hakyo style? So I wonder what he did to Mei. I mean, we know that he made the siblings, try to kill each other. We know that, Mei at one point was dangling off a cliff, and Shen, either intentionally or unintentionally, used his negator ability to make her let go. Like, I keep on thinking of it as being like, oh, it had to be connected to his negator stuff, or it had to be, like, there had to be something else there. But it may be that simple. He may have just forced her to fight Shen in order to, like, still have a house or something. I mean, I have an extreme weakness for this sort of character. Like, he's got the Rock Lee Might Guy sort of aesthetic of, in a world where everyone's using crazy magic in order to fight or to enhance themselves, I may have that kind of ability, but fundamentally, I'm mostly just going to punch people really hard. Oof! Did Fuko get off? Or no, okay, I think she's just over here then. This is the ultimate, big bad evil man move. Allow me to give you a motive. I will now take Unluck and kill her. And just as when I killed Shen's sister, you will turn the negligence to hatred for me and seek to be the strongest and die by my hands. I mean, he is a fighting game character. I mean, how can you not like him? How can you not like his single-minded determination of, yeah, I'm the strongest in all creation, that's my deal. I want to be real strong. Or rather, I am the strongest, and I just need to keep on proving it. Huh, where did she go? Like, she's definitely not on his back now. You're repairing yourself around my arm. Huh, actually, before, was there a point where... Okay, yeah, I didn't see her run away here, but was she touching his bare flesh at any point? Oh, yeah, like right here. Like, there's no clothy here, so she started charging up the Unluck here. And then by this point, she ran away. Did she start last chapter? Really? Oh, I guess even here, she is, like, touching his neck. Yeah, you're right. Here comes what you helped raise. Your foolish pupil summoned by a stroke of Unluck. Now, how did this work in terms of Unluck? Like, I know Shen wants to do this, like, this is a combo move, but in Shen's body, did he get the sudden burst of, like, oh no, my hands are moving on their own, I'm gonna go stab Andy? Like, we know that Unluck can affect people as well as, like, it can affect living people as well as, like, unliving things, and that mostly we usually see it affect unliving things. But how... I really hope we get, like, Shen's perspective on how this felt. I mean, alternatively, I guess it could just be that Shen was gonna get here anyways, and it was just the flying Nimbus and the pole that were affected by the Unluck. Like, the Nimbus flew up faster, and the pole is, hitting with way more force. Yeah, Clothy could. Like, there are those, Like, you know those, like, wraps that you, like, put a baby in so you can, like, carry the baby on your back? Or, yeah, like a cat backpack. Oh, Fuko in a cat backpack sounds like the cutest thing in the world. I don't know why my initial thought process was, like, the big babushka wrap. Yeah, there's you know, Clothy isn't pulling his weight. I know Clothy has the big problem constantly of, how do I cover up Andy? But we don't need to cover up Andy. The censor bar is still there. It's fine. Like, the series isn't going to get canceled. Until Uncensor shows up, Clothy's purpose isn't that important. He should just be on Fuko the whole time. Boy, how satisfying. I see my recommendations are, you know, if you like Undead Unluck, have you considered Mitama Security and A Gravity Boys? I'm not sure if that's quite the same vibe. I would also classify Undead Unluck as one of the 4 series in Jump trying not to be a gag series. Though, I don't know, it's got gag energy to it. Like, I would say One Piece definitely has gag energy. And Undead Unluck, like, especially in the art and in the, like, way that certain beats play out, like, this chapter didn't really have any gags in it, but it has gag energy. What a fantastic chapter. Like, yeah, there's no contests. Right above 9 Dragons. Undead Unluck is a treat, and if it gets canceled, then I mean, every week I lose more and more faith in Shueisha, but there's no way, right? It's not possible. They can't. No one would be that unbelievably bonkers. I would be, I will say, the only way I will be okay with the end tag showing up is if it is a Chainsaw Man situation. Like, if in the final chapter, Uncensor shows up, the black bar in front of Andy's penis flickers away, and then we get the big continued in part 2 on on Jump Plus splash page. I'm okay with that. Any other cancellation is extremely bad and wrong and unjust. Oh, I'd be okay with that. Like, moving to a different magazine because you have in fact moved to another world is also a next level storytelling move. You know what? Yeah, that's grown on me. I'm okay with that. But it would have to be that cheeky. If the editor is involved at all, I hate it. It's gotta come from the mangaka. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, moving to a magazine is also different than, like, the big The End tag. Like, it wouldn't be a part situation if it was just we're just going to another magazine. Like, I'm just moving out of Shonen Jump. It can't contain this big ol' wiener. Okay, that's enough. We gotta move on. Next is Dr. Stone, Z equals 194. Homo sapiens, all alone. Before it was Dr. Cell, it was briefly Dr. Selma, which was also very strong. So, we got Suika underneath the big clang machine. We have Chalk out there with the boar off on Chalk Quest. How will this go? I'm so curious about Chalk Quest. I mean, it might not come to anything. We might just be focusing on him because, you know, he's the only member of the Japan team to still be around. But I'm hoping for it. I really like the idea. I like the aesthetic. I want to see him, like, I don't know how he would do it though. Like, he can't go to the Sulphur Lake. He'd die. But I really like the idea of Chalk breaking out at least one other person. Whereas over here in South America, definitely going to be Suika. There's no doubt about it. Look at these cows doing the big maunch. What will it be? And, like, I didn't even consider this. The vegetation could, like, if the canopy here gets big enough, like, the revival food could fall and, like, fall onto a bed of leaves or onto a branch or something and, like, be knocked away from Suika. This isn't a guaranteed revival. I'm hoping it is, but we don't know for sure. Oh, Big Cat Hiss. Big Cat Hiss. Is Big Cat Hiss big enough? Oh, that's a real Big Cat Hiss. Oh, okay, it cracked, but it's not enough. Meanwhile, Chalk Quest is not going too well. Guys, I feel like Chalk doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like Chalk Quest isn't working out. Okay, she's getting real buried, but the hand's still there. We're still kind of okay. Oh, I got the big space awoo. Chalk Quest, Chalk Quest. Okay, big bolt of lightning. Come on, that's gotta do it. If this doesn't do it, I don't know what would be loud enough. On, here we go. Okay, it did it. Suika is out. Oh boy, actually. Yeah, the last time we saw her helmet, Stanley did, like, shoot it. And it's been a while. We don't know exactly how long it's been, but the end of the last chapter implied at least, like, 3 years. So I don't know if any part of it's gonna still be around. It finally happens. Ah, okay. Dr. Suika is... I'm down with it. I'm ready for Dr. Suika. Ah... I mean, if Suika has been nothing if not the competent gal, she is the smoothest operator. Listen, I like Luna, but we have never seen Luna spin dash. We've seen Suika not even in the, in the melon. We've seen her spin dash before. Oh, yeah. So I guess this also confirms, 3 years is not long enough for actual marks to appear. I didn't consider that, but Boichi could have done the markings they draw on themselves have, a small acid on them. So after, 3 years, when they break out, they'll actually have the cracks on them again. Yeah, the big problem is, where's the revival fluid? We know that Luna and Chelsea had, a whole sack of revival fluid, but I don't think Suika knows where they were supposed to go, right? I mean, I know the initial plan was for Suika to be there, but I don't think they actually said where that was. I think we saw the visual of that, but that was that was a Boichi visual. That was a what if. I mean, she might know where to go, but also this place is so overgrown. I've lived roughly in the same area my whole life, and I still get lost occasionally when I'm driving. I can't imagine finding the specific hill that those two girls were on here, in the middle of South America, after being broken out of stone, while also not being able to see. That's the big one. Okay. Dang, the helmet's actually pretty okay. For 3 years. To be fair, she's usually in the same one. She's been in the same one for over a year, as far as we know, so I guess that makes sense. And she's just using it as a yeah, just as a single eyeglass to try and make things kind of get into focus. But there's actually a pretty she's taken a piece of this one, but this one's also pretty it held together kind of okay. But at the same time, I know how difficult it can be to look through broken glasses. So it might be better to have just the tiny little bits to focus on instead of being completely overwhelmed with the visual stimuli of the cracked glass. No, Suika, that's not quite right. I mean, I did joke last chapter that knowing Chelsea and knowing Luna, they may have literally broken every single bottle of revival fluid trying to throw them up in the air. But I feel like that's not the case. But at the same time, again, she wouldn't know about that. Oh, he's so hungry. Once these last bits of food are gone, Suika will starve to death. That's so dark. The concept of Suika breaking out of the stone and then being well, I can't do anything else. Guess I'm gonna starve to death in front, around all my dead friends. Or essentially dead friends. Oh, poor girl. Oh, man, actually. I have no doubt in my mind that she's not really gonna starve. She's going to pull herself through. She's really strong. But I wonder how long it's going to take. If she can't find a existing bottle of revival fluid, does she know how to make revival fluid? Senku has said the exact formula a couple times, but I mean, I don't know if she would remember that off by heart. I feel like we could have a big time skip. We could go 10 years or so with her learning how to live here, especially because they're in South America. So it's not like she has to worry about it snowing. Not serious, deep, deadly winter. There's still winter. It'll still get cold. But I feel like this is a place where she could figure out how to survive. There's an existing shelter here. There's gotta be edible food around here somewhere. Oh, man. Boichi would do it. I could see Boichi doing it. I mean, counter, though. I've wanted to get another Kamen Rider look for the longest time. Ever since we had Kinro briefly wearing Suika's helmets. Suika herself could be the rider of this new world. if the lenses don't work out for her, like she can still use the pinhole effect of her old helmets. And I'm sure there's like some sort of gourd around here she could find that she could like hollow out. I'd be very into like post-apocalyptic Rider Suika. Oh. Cook up some food, Francois. Tell Suika what to do, Senku. Give Suika a hug, Kohaku. Again, the one person that Kohaku loves romantically is Suika. Oh, poor girl. Oh, but she's remembering, like, she wasn't here for this, but I'm sure she's remembering, like, Senku's stories. Like, him saying, this is how, this is how I broke out of stone. Like, this is how I thought I was the only person in the world, and I still managed to, pull myself together. Oh, adult Suika spin dash is all I want. I mean, I guess they got rid of Chelsea's giant pumpkin, but there's gotta be a big old melon around here somewhere. You're right. Senku was also all alone at the start. He didn't even know if anyone else could wake up, but this time Suika knows for sure that everyone can wake up with just a little revival fluid. Okay, and that's actually very actionable. Like, it's not a, I'm gonna have to build everything from the start. It is a, like, someone may have had some revival fluid. And you don't need that much to break someone out. So if they have, like, one container, that'd be enough to break out at least Senku. And, like, if she can break Senku out, then he can definitely make more. Like, I'd say that's the absolute top priority, above anyone else. Because also, they're in South America. Like, even if she does remember how he made it, like, the animal population is different. They can't just go get, like, bat guano from a bat cave. He would have to, like, figure out a different way to make it. Look at how cute she is in the shots. I also appreciate the big, like, like, she's not squinting right now. Her eyes are open, but she is, like, she's doing the classic arms out in order to steady herself. Like, it's a combo of being, like, very practical and also very adorable. Oh, look at that look! Oh my god! Okay, so, like, that makes sense, I guess, because, she can't, like, fix the lenses on her own. So she just has the bottom parts of the lenses there and the bottom parts of her helmets. So she can use them like bifocals. Like, I don't know if she can, like, push them up or if she just, like, glances down, but, oh, that's such a cool look. Like, that plus the, yeah. Her initial helmet had, like, it originally had one leaf. And then when she got the new one with the lenses in it, it had two leaves in it. Oh, I guess we don't see any leaves here, but it looks like they've migrated down. Like, in addition to the, like, big, thick rope thing she always has, it looks like the bottom portion of the helmet plus the leaves from the helmets look like a sort of a scarf situation. It looks pretty badass. I want to say we've achieved Rider Suika, but that's not quite right. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. I feel like it. From this shot alone, she looks so cool. Aw, this callback to the first chapter. Hey, what's with that one monkey? Her face is all smooth and shiny. Never seen one of us before, have you? Well, my name is Suika, and Suika's a human. But yeah, like, as much as I feel like the 10-year time skip would be way too much. Like, even Senku did not go years and years and years. He went, like, 1 year before he broke out Taiju, right? And, like, Senku is unbelievably exceptional. Like, he was capable of thinking while also constantly counting every single second. Like, he could do that. So, like, I can buy him, holding it together. And I mean, like, in real life, there have been people who have, like, survived a year of isolation, and they've been, like, a bit messed up, but mostly okay. But Suika is, like, she's so young, too. Even if she has this drive to succeed, I feel like it's not going to be good for her if she goes multiple years. Yeah, like, I want at least, I'd say one more chapter that is all Suika. I'd be down with, like, 2 or 3, but I feel like that might edge into, like, monotonous territory. But I would like to see her, like, doing more stuff here. Like, she's gathering food, she's figuring out, like, she's clearly, like, thatching this roof a little. Like, I want to see the fruits. Like, I want to see how much she is doing here. I am guessing, like, when she starts breaking people out of stone, they're going to have this enormous feeling of respect. Like, they're going to see how much she's been able to do, and they're all going to be super duper proud of her. Yeah, like I think 2 chapters would be enough. 3 is pushing it. 3 would get really monotonous. But I think 1 chapter showing off, like, hey, here's everything that Suika has done here. Like, she's built this house. She's like found all of the statues and she's put them in a safe location. Like if someone did break an arm or something, she put it in the right place. Like yeah, and like also visually seeing her collecting food, or like putting the statues in somewhere, or like inspecting the areas around the statues to make sure that there's not like a stray revival fluid thing. Yeah, because this is fundamentally like, the callback is nice, but this is fundamentally very different from the start of the series. Like, this is not a I don't know what I'm doing. Suika does have a distinct goal. She knows everyone is still alive. Everyone here has all been stoned before. All she needs to do is break him out, and she knows basically how to do that. And I do think that's like, I think Luna and Chelsea are going to be the key. I feel like she's going to pull in everyone who is in the immediate location, and then we're going to have a while of her, like, doing scouting missions. Like, going out and trying to find, like, those 2 specifically, but maybe some of the others. Like, I'm guessing they'll have the fluid, and that'll be enough to at least crack out Senku and a couple other people. Listen, Chelsea loves geology. She would want to be a rock. I think everyone understands it's best if she just kind of stays there. We'll break her out some other time. Yeah. The thing is also, like, the smart option would be breaking out Senku first. But I don't really want that to happen, because I feel like once Senku gets broken out, it's the Senku story again. I'd like it if, I don't know, maybe if there's like 1 remaining vial of revival fluid and Suika fumbles it by accident and breaks out, like, no, I don't want Luna and Chelsea. Oh no. I don't want a series where 33% of the protagonists are Chelsea. But yeah, I think it would, like, legitimately be more fun if, like, Suika fumbles the bottle, or, like, accidentally breaks out someone who isn't Senku. And then, like, together they have to figure out a way to make more revival fluid. Or, like, actually Chrome. Oh my gosh, I would love it if Chrome gets broken out, and then it is Suika and Chrome, like, reviving everyone. Oh no, you're right. I would be completely down with Luna dropping the... like, Luna unstoning herself and just being incapable of going back to the original location. Or alternatively, she may have just walked back to America. She may have just been like, well, I don't know what to do here, so... But fingers crossed that Boichi doesn't do the big ol' we're gonna time skip 10 years and we're gonna get sexy Suika. It's not that I'm against it, it's just I feel like I don't trust Inagaki and Boichi to write older Suika well. Man. And my guess is still, like, they're gonna do all of this. Like, Suika will, break out enough people that they can start, like, breaking out everyone. They'll make a truce, and then once they get once they build another radio, I don't think they'll sail back to Japan. I feel like what they'll do is they'll set up a radio in order to see if Y-Man is still broadcasting. And when they do that, they'll get a radio signal from Japan. And then they'll do the big reveal of, like, oh, everyone in the Japanese base is fine because of Chalk Quest. Like, Chalk did do it. He figured it out. He's a good boy. But yeah, like, I want it to be a couple months. Like, I think a year is enough. That also, I feel like she would change enough as a character that it would feel like this arc had big consequences. Like, we have the consequences of, people being shot and us not knowing if Hyoga is going to survive even. But I think Suika should be the biggest change. And, like, she's a little kid, so 1 year of aging is actually quite a bit. Like, we've already done a year time skip with her, and she hasn't really physically changed very much. But I think if they do one more a year, that might be enough to justify a bit more of a growth spurt or a bit more of a design change. Yeah. And that would also allow her to build more stuff. Like I really, really, really want her to get the the big praise when people look around, even if it is just one person. When they look around, they see everything Suika did in order to keep them safe and to progress towards like getting the formula. But I'm so excited. This is such a cool idea for an arc. Okay, that's enough gushing. No more. Not allowed. Right to the top. Is there any doubt? I mean, there isn't. There's no doubt. Oh, my hero is going to have to be an unbelievable banger to get higher than this. But I mean, this arc's been pretty good, so let's see. Not going to curse it. Let's move right along to My Hero Academia, number 310, Masters and Pupil. Masters, of course, referring, I assume, to the Vestiges and also to All Mights. Maybe to Endeavor as well? I mean, like, we'll see, we'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be mostly Masters as in, wait, let me check the previous chapter real quick. Like, how did we end that one? Was it... Yeah, it was the, like, this is our big team. And I don't think any of them would be masters in that. They're not, like, they might be allied with Deku, but I don't think they're going to, like, impart lessons on him. Whereas I feel like the Vestiges and maybe Toshinori are, like, actual masters. Oh, this look is so cool. Oh, like, I don't think we've had a chapter title yet that gives me the big, like, this is what this I'm going to call this arc. Like, we haven't had the big My Villain Academia thing, but... Oh yeah, you're right. Masters in Pupil, like, that's also accurate. I'm gonna say it, this is a disappointing ass. It's there, but there's no definition. It's so flat. This is... one of the last things Toshinori needs to teach him is, how do you get all for one, or sorry, how do you get one for all to go to the butts? Because All Might has a defined butt, like he's putting some of that 100% into the butts. Deku does not put any of it into the butts. We've not seen butt style. Which state is butt style? I'm guessing, I'm gonna say South Dakota? I don't know anything about South Dakota, but I feel like that's where butt style comes from. Florida has to be Wang style. Like, that is... The Florida Man Smash is something... The Florida Man Smash would require My Hero Academia to move to Jump Plus. Okay, that's it. We gotta move. I don't say it very often, but I'm still bothered by this. Like, by putting the color version of the, like, chapter... of the series title on the blank page here. I'm fine when it's the black and white title, and I know this is the weirdest, pickiest thing to say, because it's not as bad as that one time when the Promised Neverland put, like, the color logo for the Promised Neverland on a black and white page. That was a real, like, scanlator move. That looked so bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. It just makes me feel weird. Who are they shooting at? Is this also Jailbreaker? It can't be, right? Oh no! Racism, I see. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, I didn't think of this as being part of the, this big swing with, normal citizens getting weapons and, taking matters into their own hands. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I will always adore in Vigilantes is the chapter where they talked about, like, people with quirks that make you big, and the fact that there's nothing wrong with being big, it is just that society is not designed for big people. And, like, there are, like, certain apartments in Japan that are meant for big people, but if you can't get them, like, if you don't have the money, or, they're all taken up at the moment, you have to just go live in a normal apartment, and if you got big poops, you gotta just poop in the bathtub, or you gotta poop in the trash can. And everyone's gonna look at you like you're the bad guy, but it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? Gosh. I feel like I say this every chapter, but this is what I wanted from My Hero for so long. Like, it's Deku getting to be a hero and do heroic things. Now, I do like this look, but I gotta say, this look is not the look I want to see when someone is saying, calm down, it's, you're on edge, don't worry, things are going to be okay. This mask does not give me the feeling of things are going to be okay. This mask gives me the feeling of being in the purge. I mean, I get it. I get the idea of, you know, wanting to stay home and hoping it'll just blow over. Aww. God, this shot is so cute. Deku is so tiny compared to her. I wonder if it'll ever all go back to normal. I'll make it so. I mean, again, he hasn't quite gotten to All Might levels of being able to reassure people. He looks like he's from Mad Max, and his "I am here" is "I'll make it so." It's so weirdly off-putting. But it's all worth it for this shot of him giving her the big umbrella. Ah, yeah. And I appreciate that, like, she's big, but she's not, like, skyscraper big. Like, she's just a big lady. It's a size that we've seen a couple times in, like, big group shots. Or, like, every once in a while. But, like, it's even smaller than the big villains, quote-unquote. This is a nice size. Yeah, like, xenophobia is never justified. Oh, man. Is this the Batmobile? Toshinori, where'd you get this? Where did he get this car? I mean, he is rich, but still. Oh, right, I forgot about the Genus Mobile. There we are. That. He's so good. Even without his powers, even though he looks like a corpse. The move of, take this. There's tonkatsu in there to keep your spirits up. Oh, he's so warming. What a good boy. It's like we slid back in time to darker days. Waiting with bated breath, hoping not to stand out. Just like back during the advent of the exceptional. God, these lines are so good. But yeah, all he can really do right now is just, kind of put band-aids on the situation. There's no way to get a big lead. Oh, and I do really like the aesthetic of, his masters being able to just pop in. Like, this also allows Deku to not feel like he's completely isolated, while still making him isolated. Like, now all he has to talk to are the voices in his head. Oh, okay, so are we going to address, the two that were in timeouts? Like, Deku hasn't used any of their abilities, so... Are they still continuing to say no, or is it a situation where, like, even if they say yes, because their, like, souls are opposed to Deku, he can't access them? I implore you, my heroes. This reminds me so much of, I was reading an article recently that brought up something I've never really considered, which is the weirdness of the line, like, the big X-Men line, "To me, my X-Men." Like, the first time Charles ever says that is during the Onslaught saga. Like, when when he is becoming evil. Like, the first time he says, "To me, my X-Men," it is like he's got big shadows over his face, and it's very creepy feeling. Like, it's supposed to sound villainous. But in recent years, I mean, no one reads X-Men anymore. They've had some good stories, but the MCU era... we need to bury the X-Men era of the X-Men kind of made all their stories suck. But, like, we've had a lot of, like, things where, like, Cyclops has said, "To me, my X-Men." Like, it's this big callback. It is "To me, my X-Men" is the X-Men version of Avengers Assemble. But it always feels weird because it has this weird villainous tone to it. I'm bringing that up because I think this is actually not villainous. I actually do like the tone of, "I implore you, my heroes." Because, it feels like a bit of a shout out to the title of the series, My Hero Academia. But also, it is this, like, begging tone. Or, like, not necessarily begging, but it is a request. It isn't a command. It is him asking, like, please, you are, like, my heroes. You are the people I, passed down my power to. And now I'm begging you to pass down your power this time. It's got a nice ring to it. Oh, it's an absolute parade of ... Absolutely trying to change the mood. Oh, look at this scribble Deku. Let me just I've put my light in a weird place IRL, but okay. Look at this Scribble Deku. Look at this Scribble Deku. Look at this tackle. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah, I can see that. Like, especially with how old Charles is. Like, I get the more heroic uses of "to me, my X-Men." It's always felt weird to me. By the way, I do apologize for putting that exclamation mark at the end of your name, Bravinto. Due to the way my plugin works for OBS, if you don't have like a slight change to your name at the very least, you don't show up on the live chat with your actual name. Like, it just shows up as, like, I think it's just object in quotes. So you can remove that or like do whatever you want, but I would suggest having one tiny little change to your title, so that way you'll show up properly. We lived through the harshest era. I'm glad you like it. You've got a very, like, upbeat personality. So my immediate thought was, like, what would signify you in a way that I don't think would be, upsetting in any way? And it was the exclamation mark. It is the, like, your name is Bravinto. Okay, moving from that light tone to the harshest era. I mean, yeah, these are they number 2 and number 3? I think they are. The height of All for One's prosperity, an era where when his control spread unchecked. Those who under his control didn't even realize it, but our leader had misgivings about the future. This is a strong look. Like, his look is definitely meant to feel like, lightly Bakugo-ish. I'm not on this is, of course, Bakugo's secret third father, after his real one, and of course, muscular. But, like, there's definitely inspiration here. But yeah, like, this, I also get it now, like, why he would turn away from Deku's whole, like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna kill, but I need to know whether, like, he's truly, like, irredeemable. Like, I can't, I want to take this time to learn the meaning of good and evil. Like, I can understand how someone who had to kill in order to create some semblance of not even peace, but just to fight back against absolute evil. I get why you would look at this, child with all this power and say, you're making no sense. Now you tell us to devote our efforts to one who wants to save our mortal enemy? A boy holding on to such a ridiculous delusion? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Then tell me this. Why, on that day, knowing full well of my ties to your mortal enemy, did you reach out to me? Also, was it the two of them? I guess it was. Like, I guess they were a duo at this time. Which also makes sense as to why, like, from number 1 to number 2 and then from number 2 to number 3. Like, no one had to be, like, explicitly recruited until the 4th. That's also so cool. Like, so much of My Hero has, like, the symbolism of reaching out to someone to, like, pass on that power or to accept it. It is that fundamental, like, if your mindset is, we need to kill, we can't take any prisoners, there is no gray in the middle, it is black and white, then why is it that you reached out to me? Oh, I didn't think about that, but that does change all of the timeout scenes, when it is a very clear, like, they could have just not been in the room. They could have chosen not to manifest. They chose to manifest in the corners of the rooms. Like, they chose to be in timeout because they wanted everyone to know, yes, we are here. We know this is what we have to do, but we don't like it, so we're gonna pout and be in timeout this whole time. One for All emerged from the world to resist my brother, but the moment you reached out your hand to me was when One for All was truly born. That's such a nice sentiment. Holy crap. Like, yeah, that does make sense. Like One for All fundamentally is a power that, stockpiles power and moves it to other people. And as much as you need to have the will to move that power on, you also need to have the power, you need to have the will to accept that power. Like, if he had found no one who would have accepted him, especially as the brother of the great evil Urabancho dictator of Japan, like, none of this would have happened. The absolute audacity of Horikoshi to end this chapter with Deku heroically chomping on Tonkatsu. I love it. I love this chapter. You know what? This was a banger of a chapter. I can't put it above Dr. Stone, but this is such a good chapter. Like, it is also the fact that, like, in a lot of chapters, the back half is going to overshadow the first half. Like, that's just sort of, like, that's narrative. But this first half is so important. Like, I'm so glad we focused on not just Deku saving people, but on this fundamental, like, this is a metaphor for the ending of the chapter. It is the, like, I look like someone that you would hate, and like, you are lashing out against me, but all I want is someone who would reach out to me and, tell me that things are going to be okay. Like, it is the appearance of something monstrous. And then we end the chapter with the statement of the reason why, One for All exists is fundamentally because of someone who was, a hero who was willing to look at someone who could have appeared monstrous, and instead he looked at them as a victim. Or, like, as an innocent person, as someone who is not tainted by the evil that, is around them. That's also a big part of this arc. Like, I can palpably feel the miasma of this situation. Like, I'm not sticking up for these people, but I get this, like, the idea of everyone being on edge. I get the idea of this climate bringing out the absolute worst in these people. And I'm glad this isn't a, like, both of them are suffering. It is a fundamental, they are wrong. But, like, this is a climate where, like, people are being pushed to their absolute limits, and the worst sides of humanity are coming out. Like, it's this nice bookend that, this feels like all, back then. But even back then, it was not a cold, heartless world where everyone had to kill or be killed. It was a world where there are, potential shades of gray. Like, there's room for kindness in this world. This chapter has such a, like, immediately iconic feel to it. Plus, like, did we know Yoichi's name before? Probably. But, like, it feels so intimate. Like, knowing that the first three users of One for All knew each other, and they were all here in this room in this moment. Okay, so we didn't know his name. Yeah, like, that feels like such a big, like, not a big reveal, but a big statement of closeness. Also, I guess they are literally the Three Musketeers. Like, because the plot of the Three Musketeers is, you got the Three Musketeers, and then they recruit a fourth. And that would have been what they had to do at some point, right? Like, the three of them would have had, One for All. They would have stockpiled energy between the three of them. Or, they would have, like, passed it on over time. And then by the very end, like, the third would have had to recruit the fourth, the one with danger sense, and tell him, like, hey, I'm gonna give you all this power. You may have not, been as close as the three of us were, but this is all on you now. There's something really beautiful about that. It feels like a sin to put this under Dr. Stone, but, I mean, I really love that Dr. Stone chapter. So, I mean, it's the harshness of a ranking system. As much as the ranking doesn't really mean anything, it is primarily just a way for me to sort of, like, make decisions and talk about the series a little more than just saying it was a good chapter. Yeah. You're not wrong. It's been a while since I've read The Three Musketeers, but Politicians Lie, Just Go Be Gay and Fuck Around with Your Friends is pretty solid. I feel like I might be cramming it a little too hard into the grimdark setting of All for One's Rise. Anyways, that's My Hero. Absolute banger. If it is second place, but it may as well just be number one. At some point, I'm going to hit, like, there's going to be a chapter out there. There are going to be 2 chapters where I'm going to have to do this. But not today. I'm not there yet. Someday, my ranking system will absolutely fall apart. Anyways, that is My Hero Academia. Let us move on to the final chapter we are reading for this little stretch of time. Me and Roboco, Chapter 39. Love Rebecca. My favorite character is Rebecca. Is this a laugh? Did you know that when the rabbits get too lonely, they can die? They don't actually die. So she's doing the very heavy, like, please talk to me hint. But yeah, like, he's in school. Also, what does it say? This month's goal, demonstrating your prospects for wage slavery. That's school. Roboco! Chapter 39, The Rough Patch in Roboco. And it's not like he's not replying to her. He did say, like, I'm in class, I can't reply. And her response was, guess I'll die. Just kidding. Surprisingly strong, like, previous chapter to this chapter continuity. Like, it is the big rebound of they spent little time together when she was an idol. Now she's super, super clingy. Are we going through a rough patch? Oh, it's been a hot minute since we've seen Yanta. I see. I need to figure out how to make him feel a little less safe. How unbelievably bad. Just say it. Just explain yourself. I mean, it's also weird because, again, he is a child. She is an order maid. Like, the relationship is already weird, but it's so much weirder when she's, like, doing this. Just do some Seikenzuki of gratitude. Oh, okay, I guess that's the, the 1,000 punches a day. Also, when he's saying this, is he saying this as a Hunter x Hunter reference is weird? Like, is he saying, how do I put this? Is he just saying, you're weird, and also that's a Hunter x Hunter reference? Or is he saying, it's weird that you did a Hunter x Hunter reference? That's not like you. I know your references. You're the one who's being weird. There used to be a time where if I was upset like this, you'd gently embrace my knee. The problem is that Roboco is so unbelievably chaotic that I can't imagine how you would, like, safely deal with her. Like, when she's this emotional, how do you deal with her? Like, you can't just go into gag territory because then you're not treating it properly. But if you take it seriously, her requests are going to be so absurd that there's no way to seriously make her feel better. These are the problems of... These are relationship problems, I guess. I mean, I guess this is also the inherent problem of, how can I, let him understand that I'm being serious when I'm a gag manga character and everything I do is extremely absurd. But, she's gonna do something drastic. This is the big, like, oh, I'm gonna pretend real quickly that I'm not feeling upset so I can do something extremely upsetting. Why did she leave a second note? To be fair, I will say this. She has been growing as a person. She has gone from, I'm going to expect something completely insane from you, and I'm not going to say it until it's too late, to now she does at the very least say, please don't send in this, a form that so I can become an idol. Please send it in. And now, she's at the, I'm running away. Please look for me. What I want you to do is is look for me while I'm running away. Like, it's communication at the very least. If there's one thing that genuinely does bother me, it is I'm going to do a thing and I'm not going to explain what I want the outcome of this to be. Because if you don't explain the outcome, or if you don't explain what you want, you're not going to get what you want. Like, that's just logic. That is the most chaotic move. She said, I need to stay for a while, but when I said, let me check with Bondo, she insulted me and took off. Did she do the same thing here? She asked to stay with me. I'm 17. I'll do anything. Please let me stay in this house. Is she 17? I see. A One Piece reference. Did she ever do that? To be fair, I don't remember... I remember Robin's flashback pretty well, but I thought I remembered it being... her being a tiny child, and then her, living with people for a while, and then when she got older was when she started to, join up with pirate crews and stuff. Okay, so that, I guess that must have been during the montage, like when she was getting older. Thank you for the heads up. Myoji, boy, it's been a long time. Oh no, how does How can he win back her heart? I don't know what we're doing anymore. What is this scenario? It might be the most gorilla move for him to want to do the big, like, punch you in the face. What are you doing? How could you let her go? But he can't punch Bondo, so he just punched himself in the face. This is also actually a really good twist on the, the bullying him thing. In that, like, we're not doing the classic, it seems like they're bullying him, but actually they're great guys. Instead, they were just good guys all the way up until this panel, and then they did the, we got you to skip class. It's a twist. I mean, even then, they do slip in the, we'll tell the teacher what's up. Like, you're not gonna really get in trouble for this, but you are skipping class. That is the maximum effort bullying we can pull off here. So he did throw her away. Again, how do you help her in this situation? I also can't imagine how dark it would be if I was walking down the street and I saw a cat in a cardboard box, and on the cardboard box it just said, "It's best to just leave this here. Please don't adopt." I guess this is the resolution. I'm gonna say, this wasn't a strong chapter. It was fun. There were some good moments. But I think the problem is Roboco was too unbelievably bonkers. Like, I get the general joke of we're going to treat this like a relationship drama chapter. And because Roboco is so chaotic, there's no real way to fix this. But the problem is, if you do that, there's no real way to fix it. Like, Bondo being tsundere doesn't feel like the correct answer here. But I don't know what the correct answer would be. It's too chaotic. And I see this is also a pretty strong way to return more or less to the status quo. Roboco is no longer secretly extremely rich because of her idle days. We're back to square one. Like, I'm honestly really happy that we didn't do that last chapter. That it wasn't the classic gag manga. Roboco became a world-famous idol and super successful, and now we're going to remove all of that in the same day. She just took a break last chapter, and now we took away the money. But, I mean, she still is famous. Like, that can still play back into the series. Anyways, I'd say that was a mediocre Me and Roboco. Still better than a lot of gag series, but in terms of Roboco standards, it ain't there. I would still put it above Black Clover this week. It was a good Black Clover, but I'll keep it below the Elusive Samurai. Yeah, that feels right. Let's hit those author comments and get out of here. Author comments. Watching comedian Kojima-san's YouTube channel with my family is so peaceful. This guy is seriously at peace. I don't think I've ever heard a mangaka say, I can't believe how peaceful this was. Black Clover is a series where it's very difficult, unless it is a unbelievably standout chapter, it is extremely difficult for me to say this is why this is as high as it is. It's not bad, it's just, it's got a sameness to it that is at once very, like, happy and reassuring and, good, but at the same time, it's very rarely standouts. From now on, I guess I have to stress out about serialization and also what's right for these comments. Boy, I mean, we'll see how long Ippon can fight in order to figure out what is good, what are good author comments. This is a classic newbie mistake. All the actual, all the, like, born and bred, long-term mangaka have given up completely. But at the same time, if Ippon Takaguchi manages to make the author comment section higher than another series, I will say that's a win. I will say it's a self-own if the author comments get above Candy Flurry at any point. My hair has grown so long that I look just like Zashikiona. I need to gain some weight. Oh no, Horikoshi. I mean, we know he's been sick for a while. Oh boy, I hope he's taking care of himself. It doesn't sound like he is. Oh boy, fingers crossed. I can't imagine how devastating it would be if you were known as the mangaka whose author comments were better than his manga. Could be, actually. Like, it's, to me, the scary thing is the combo of my hair has grown so long that I look just like Zashikiona, I need to gain some weight. Like, either one of those is okay, but the combo makes it feel like, he's been stressing out and his hair has been growing long and also he hasn't been eating right. Like, it's hitting the worried part of my soul. I'm feeling a little scared. I hope he'll do okay. I received some treats and laughed when I saw that some protein bars were also included. I'm gonna get so macho. Actually, not a bad author comment from Komoto. He's gotta bulk up. If he gets swole enough, I feel like I'll turn my opinion around on Mashal. I feel like all I need to see is him, like, bench pressing Horikoshi-sensei. And that'll make me go, you know what, maybe Mashal is good, actually. If I'm not careful, my new pen slips, so I need to pay greater attention or switch back to my old pen. Wait, well, I guess they hope them bring them back. I was gonna say, does Microsoft Office still have assistants? I have Microsoft Office right now. Let me pull out Word real quick. How would I do this? Where would I look for assistants? No, this is just Google. I give up. Who would be the hardest person at Jump to bench press? Like, I think of most of them as being relatively thin. Like, Yuki Tabata seems to eat a lot, so maybe Yuki Tabata? In chapter 37, I said that Mako's hair color is black, but it's actually blue. Shirai-sensei told me about that. I can't imagine this relationship. Like, I know that the Promised Neverland mangaka, have talked about Miyazaki before because he did the Promised Neverland parody manga. I can't imagine a writer, the writer of the Promised Neverland messaging me to say, like, hey, you messed up your continuity in your gag series. You should probably fix that. I wonder if that's going to be fixed in the volumes, or if he'll just make a joke about it. Because, to be fair, like, the joke, like, this is a potential extra joke that only works if he keeps the problem intact. I read John Lyndon's autobiography. It's so cool how he lives true to himself. Anger is an energy. Rip's showing so much skin, it's kind of nerve-wracking. What is this pose gonna be on the cover? I hope the next volume is adult Rip, too. Oh boy, please do. I want to see this Rip. Kei Kamiki with the good taste. My favorite Kamen Rider is Double. Nazca Dopant is especially super cool. Nazca is really cool. I feel like they tanked, what we see of the Nazca Dopant in the second half, but the original design, super dope. The effects and, the big wings, for instance, that are based on the bird Nazca lines. Like, the fact that all of his moves are Nazca line based, really dope. And Double...
He got really shafted.
Yeah. Like, everyone remembers the first quarter and, how cool Nazca was there. And then after that, But yeah, like, also, I'm just genuinely really happy that, like, when I got into Rider, it was around Kiva, and there was a lot of negativity because Kiva was and Decade was bad. Like, he looks cool, and he's been redeemed in the last 10 years, but the series itself, not a good series. But then Double was, like, this big new, like, this is the future of Rider, and it's so good. And I'm so happy that, like, over 10 years later, Double is still really good. It still holds up. I mean, it's getting an anime. People still love Double, and for good reason. Okay, enough Double talk. Let me look at this cover. Ah, yeah, that's a good Rip. I'm honestly happy that, like, that the majority of the nude on this cover is Rip, because this is supposed to be Ano-un saying, like, these are my three heroes. I love Andy, I love Fuko, I love Rip. And we as the audience don't love Rip. Like, Ano is saying, Rip is the dopest person in the world, I love him, I love his arc, and we're like, arc? What? Wait, what? So I think it's actually really important to have him look super cool in this shot. Like, it gives, I mean, also the fact that, Ano-un's last act is to, like, give him back this look. Also, I love the Zetaryoki that is him having artificial legs and then wearing the short shorts and then having the tiniest, like, S-rank Zetaryoki around his thighs. It's such a good look. Oh, I'll check this out as well. I assume this is volume 1? Yeah. I see it's just straight up called Prologue, which makes sense. Like, if this is going to be a series where, like everything I read plus more was all prologue, and then the real series starts in volume 2, like I can respect that. It's just, the prologue didn't hook me. I also think this design looks really good. Like, it's got it feels like art. Yeah, like the composition of it is super cool. The fact that it is like, very busy up here and then down here super clean. Like the fact that the focus is on like both the like katakana reading and then ITLC, like because it's a pun and because it has multiple meanings. Yeah, like I'm really into it, and I hope that people who like the series continue to have a really good series to look forward to. It's just, what I saw wasn't really my thing. Until recently, I thought that Don Patch and Janochi had the same voice actor. What? They are totally different. I've heard the sub voices. I mean, to be fair, I can't like envision the sub voice for Janochi from Yu-Gi-Oh very well, but he's not Don Patch. That feels like a real childhood mix-up. That's a real like, yeah. But yeah, I also hoping Elusive Samurai has really cool covers. Like, what were the covers like for Nogami Neuro? I legitimately don't remember. I feel like the wiki might have the volumes on it. Like, I don't remember them being very standouts. And then, Assassination Classroom has very standout covers, but that's because they have the gimmick of, Sensei looking different and then being able to have, like, themed Sensei covers. Oh, right, it was the upside down thing. Yeah, it's cool enough. Like, I don't know what the mangaka would do for Elusive Samurai that would like tie it all together, but I have enough faith. What was this arc? Oh, this must have been the end of the robots intelligence arc. And then I guess this was the human arc? Yeah, that's actually really cool that it flips halfway through the series. Like I still would overall recommend Nero. And I think even that character isn't, like, yeah, he's not a regular. It just really stood out to me when I was reading it. Like, that was also back when I was, like, yeah, like before I, like, had a more hardline stance on this content is really weird and we shouldn't normalize it. But even at the time, it was a real, like, this is strange. This is a strange dynamic. But yeah, he is just there for that arc. He might come back at, like, sometime near the end, but like not as like a regular or anything. And I do think all of Nogami Neuro is solid as hell. Anyways, that is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of April 25th, 2021. If anyone has any ideas on like what the rest of these characters are, I guess just leave it in the Jump channel. I'm curious, but I mean, I assume someone's gonna do a write-up at some point, right? I like all the designs well enough, except for Senku. I just feel like the layout could be better, both on the Japanese and the English versions. Anyways, that's it. I'm really happy I could do a live stream again. Bye for now. Nya nya.